Newcastle United have identified their number one right-wing target this January transfer window. Who else could be leaving the club in that window as Newcastle are forced to sell in order to buy? Plenty of transfer news and more coming up in this video. Yes, people, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. You know what it is. I don't want any more doom and gloom. I had an awful weekend, well, until the Ashworth news, to be fair. And then the Lancers won the FA Cup, so that was good. But an awful Saturday, shall we say, with that Brentford game. There's a lot of doom and gloom. If you want to look for it, you'll find it on social media, anyhow out and all that. I'm talking, let's just focus on the football now, right? Let's focus on some positivity and try and have it around this Christmas period. And that will come in January, after Christmas, in the new year, if we sign some players. And I'm praying that we do. I'm certain that we will. We have to take the points deduction at this point, because we have to. Otherwise, our season's down the pan. Do you know what I mean? It's that tight. We have a chance, make one or two big signings, get some results going, climb up that league table, and obviously the massive cup game next week against Brentford, the quarterfinals of the Carabao. So in this video, we're going to talk about this article that has came out from the Telegraph, and funnily enough, I was about to do a video on transfers and stuff in January, what we need, who's going to go. We do need to sell. Eddie Howe pretty much confirmed that in the press conference on Friday, that Newcastle need to sell, they need to trade, as they've been warned about for quite some time now, in order to compete in the transfer market, make signings. We have to sell players as well. So on this one, it's all from Luke Edwards, so pinch of salt with that one. But this is well known, to be fair. These targets have been floated about for a while now. We mentioned them in the podcast, and the one we're going to talk about specifically right now is PSV Eindhoven's Johan Bakayoko. The young, exciting Belgian winger is high up on the transfer target list of Newcastle United's transfer committee, which includes Eddie Howe. Thankfully, he's in the loop. Now it's all on Mitchell. This January is all on Mitchell. Time to prove his worth. He's been in the stack. He's been having paints. He's been having a bit of crack. Wearing his store lining jacket. Time to get down to business now. Time to prove his worth in January. And this target here, Bakayoko, reeks of a Paul Mitchell move, to be honest with you. Signing a young, exciting player to develop and maybe have to sell further down the line. As we know, that's the way the cookie crumbles now. That's the way football works, with PSR and financial fair play. So instead of going for one of those Premier League targets that I would love, Brian Mbeumo in particular, I've been crying out for him for a couple of seasons now. He proved against the Toon last weekend why we should sign him, what he brings, exactly what we need. The goals, the Premier League proven record is what I love about him as well. Getting back Yoko could be exciting, could be a great player. We don't know yet, really, do we? How good's the Dutch league? Not very. Hit and miss, to be honest, isn't it? You know what I mean? One hand, you've got Anthony, who goes to Man United and just does spinneroonies for 80 million quid a week. And then the other hand, you've got some of the players that break through that do very, very well. So it's a tough one to judge, the Dutch league, to be honest with you. And Bakayoko on international level as well has proven it there and here, to be successful, to be a threat. But then also, he's had a lot of minutes off the bench there for his national side. So it's a tough one. Listen, I like the move of Bakayoko, but if it was me, I'd still want Mbeumo. Premier League proven, still a very good age, 50, 60 million, know what you're going to get week in, week out, does the job. However, in this world that we're in now with the financial struggles and, the ridiculous rules, we do have to look abroad. I think that's going to be the case, and this kind of Paul Mitchell deal is the one that's going to happen. It's the one that's going to be feasible for us to make in the here and now. Someone from the Dutch league, a hell of a lot cheaper than a Premier League proven talent, whether it be Mbeumo or Semenyo is the other link from Bournemouth as well. Apparently, Eddie Howe is a big fan of him, and he's had a very good start the season, but they're going to want loads for him, and Bournemouth are having a good season, so those ones might look out of reach. However, getting back Yogo, getting someone from abroad, is way more realistic. Although, they love to say that whole thing about January is a hard window to work in. What a load of bollocks that is. Remember when the takeover happened? All the signings we made, your Brunos and everyone came in January. You got the cash, clubs will sell. So get the money on the table, get the deals done. But according to this article here, they are saying that it will be difficult to make that happen in January. It could be the case that Newcastle saying nobody in January, according to Luke Edwards. Can't see that happening. I really can't. The owners and everyone's got to look at it and be like, we have to invest. If we want to do something this season, we want European football again, we have to invest. We can't continue with this aging defence, your Shaws and that, and waiting for Botman to come back. And you can't continue with your right wings where there's not enough goal contributions and they're not winning enough games. So, yeah, let's see what the article says anyways. I've gave my thoughts early on in the video. Here is the intention to sign at least one player, is what Eddie Howe wants to strengthen his squad. As he said, it's gone stale. He said that himself in the presser the other week. Now, Bakayoko, the Belgian winger, has featured prominently in those recruitment meetings, but sources have acknowledged a deal in January will be difficult. PSV reluctant to lose one of their best players in the middle of the season. The 21-year-old is enjoying an impressive spell in the Netherlands. 5 goals and an assist in 14 appearances in the Eredivisie this season. Bakayoko has been watched and targeted by a host of top European clubs, with Newcastle being one of them, very keen to add him to their squad. PSV's resistance means Newcastle may have to wait until the summer to sign Johan Bakayoko. No, can't wait. No waiting around here. We haven't got time. This season is slipping away from us. Falling away. Crumbling. We're bottom half. We're kind of waiting another 6 months. Nonsense. Let's get him in, or somebody, in January. They also point out the fact, this is a shift in their transfer strategy, recruitment strategy under Paul Mitchell. Brentford's and Boomer and Bournemouth's Semenyo, who I've just mentioned there, have been extensively scouted by the Magpies, very much admired, but they don't have the 50 to 60 million needed in January to tempt either of their Premier League rivals to sell. I mean, first of all, Brentford and Bournemouth being our Premier League rivals is very worrying. I know we've struggled against them this year and where the table is at the minute, but we're meant to be a top 6, top 8 side now, aren't we? Brentford and Bournemouth, I know they're having good seasons, but our rivals have to be Spurs, Villa, Brentford and Bournemouth. I don't believe that either. Honestly, we had the money to spend in the summer on Gahey, 60, 70 million. We had the money to put a bid in for a Langer on deadline day, 50 million. We've got the money. I think we'll spend at least that this January. I think we just have to. So let me know your thoughts on Bakayoko. Would you go in for him? On the other side of that, as I mentioned earlier, Newcastle do need to sell to buy, as confirmed by Howe, Eels, everyone else at the club. We've known that for a while now. And we all brace for interest in Harvey Barnes. Despite an impressive season statistically for Barnes, he's one of our top goal scorers. 5 goals, 1 assist for him. This season, he won Player of the Month in November. He's found his opportunities very limited because he prefers left-hand side. This goes back to, why the hell did we sign him with Gordon there? We're strapped for cash. Great signing Barnes if you've got the money, but signing him and then having the £40 million player on the bench and then you can't sign someone on the right wing makes no sense. So that was quite odd. I like Harvey Barnes. I said it when we signed him, I liked him. He's proven it. He scored some big important goals. He's shown that he is a great attacking player. Sometimes makes the wrong decision defensively, but, where he is as a winger, goals and assists speak for itself. I like him. I think he's a quality player, but Newcastle don't want to sell him. Apparently they don't want to lose him, but it's one of them ones with PSR. The brace for offers, the brace for interest, because of how well Barnes is doing this season, how well he's done throughout his career. To be honest, Leicester and Newcastle last year after his injury, Newcastle now. He scored some screamers, got a great highlight reel. So there is going to be interest from other Premier League sides and abroad. So, the 27-year-old Newcastle want to keep, they might lose him. They might think, if we can recoup that money we're spent on him, 30, 40 million, put that on that right winger, which we desperately need a lot more than the left winger, since Anthony Gordon's there, and you can also deploy, Willock, Jolinton and that there as well. So it's one of them ones where they might have to listen to offers, and apparently Barnes is also frustrated at the lack of game time, the lack of starts in particular. Listen, he got given a start at Brentford, took it very well. Great first half. He was at fault for one of the goals, misplaced pass. That can happen. Didn't help that the defence just then sat back. But, Barnes going forward, he's proven his worth. I think he's been a good signing. He's great squad depth. But if we can't afford to keep him as squad depth, and he's not happy, being that type of player who's an impact sub, if you like, then you might have to move on. There is also talk in this article, as I said earlier, here about, our transfer strategy being focused on the European market now, foreign leagues, further afield, where they can, grow the player. We're looking for potential more so, rather than going for an Mbeumo who's going to cost more, Premier League proof and all of that. And we're also searching for players who are entering the final year to 18 months of their contracts, as they also potentially represent greater value. On other departures, potential January sales here, it is talked of Miguel Almiron again. We are looking for 12 million quid for Miggy, the Paraguay international, as well as Kieran Trippier, who was open to the possibility of a move, and Newcastle are open to selling him as well in the next transfer window. Bruno is also linked to Man City. We know he's high up on Pep's wish list this January. That was revealed by Sky Sports and others the other day, but apparently Newcastle have not had any contact from Man City, and sources have said that if they were, the Premier League champions would have already kind of registered their interest in Bruno if they were going to get him in this January. However, they haven't ruled out making a move for the Brazilian international as well. So, listen, if they can offer big money, it's one of them with FFP and PSR that you might have to listen to as well. But I tell you what, there is a podcast for us on Wednesdays as always now. The new date for the TMC podcast, Wednesdays, live at 6 p.m. So we'll delve into all these subjects in greater detail there, and we'll hear from you in the live chat as well. But if you're watching this one back, let us know in the comments what you thought of all of it, Newcastle's ins and outs this January, which is sure to be a very busy, fucking better be, and important window for the club. Also, finally, shout out everyone that's ordered the hats. The white ones are sold out. I'm getting loads of messages about them. Whites are sold out. Black ones, there are 5 left. We're hopefully going to get a restock in the next week or so, but cheers for all your support on those. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop a like on this one, and I'll see you on the next one.